For some reason, this episode really wanted me to eat some chicken. Like I really felt like eating some chicken, so I just got finished eating some chicken and some pancakes that was here. Shouts out to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, I guess, and Gladys Knight and whoever else. But anyway, y'all like my new glasses? Got them from Lens Crafters. A fucking arm and a leg. Ooh. It brought the kids' account down low. Is the kids got insurance, but they didn't take my insurance, so it was just like a mess. So anyway, you'll probably see these a lot. So yeah, they are prescription indeed. My vision is terrible. My left eye has always been a little better than my right eye. My left eye, it's like 20/30 now. Right eye, like 20/200. Absolutely terrible vision. And God bless all the glasses in the world and all the people in the world. Anyway, hi y'all, Mr. Chalaki. Anyway, all right, let's just get into it. All right. So it's the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. That's probably why I wanted to eat chicken. And Phaedra's getting the boys together to go to DC. Um, and she calls and she talks to what's his name? Apollo ass on the phone. And he talking to the child and making sure he do trying to chastise him from the phone basically. Make sure you get your schoolwork, you get this and you get that, do good and all that stuff and she specifically Phaedra wants to go there because of Congresswoman Wilson, who's done a lot. She has sent thousands of black men to college, and she does a whole lot, and she's dope and incredible. So yeah. Anyway, they have that little moment, and next episode we actually see Phaedra considering taking the kids to go see Apollo in jail. So, we'll see. It seems like she's growing, whatever, and whatever Southern Belle moments. All right, Todd is talking to Candy in the car. She just leaned back in the car like she is in her confessionals, just all faux chin necked and shit, just chilling. She's a pregnant woman. Let her live her life. All right. So he's basically, talking to her about opening up the restaurant, and he wants to call the restaurant Old Lady Gang. How is that an attractive name, Todd? Like, who told you on what day that that name was going to be cute? Like, Old Lady Gang, really? And of course, it's named after Mama Joyce, Aunt Bertha, and Aunt Nora. And basically Aunt Nora and Aunt Bertha is great cooks. They have all kind of great recipes on different things that Candy has, and he wants to basically use their recipes and basically use them and their to make this whole restaurant thing come together. So they all sit down at Mama Joyce's house, and Aunt Bertha's not with it. Especially when Todd tells them the name of the possible restaurant, which is gonna be Old Lady Gang. She was just like, I ain't with it. And Aunt Nora was like, yeah, baby, I got it, baby. Aunt Nora always liked Todd. Aunt Nora's the nicer one. Aunt Bertha is a little bit more like Aunt June, like Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce opened Todd up with open arms as soon as she came over there. So I come to you with open arms. Well, actually, until I said her, then everybody came to Mama Joyce's house, I think. So, as soon as he walked in, she was just like, oh Todd, that's my baby and all that shit. It was just like, Candy, where did this come from? I don't know, Candy. This weird shit going on. I swear. She must have just had a few cocktails or something. But it's nice to see that Todd and Mama Joyce is getting along for the time being. As you know, he lost his mother, so it's nice that he has her support and the aunts as well. But I got a feeling Aunt Bertha's gonna be all right with it. So anyway, Kenya invites Cynthia over to her unfinished house, where Shrek lives, apparently according to Sheree. And she's been away from Detroit, planning her family reunion away at Detroit, and so I guess the contractors or whoever she hired ain't doing nothing on her house. These contractors are shiesty as hell. Ain't nothing new going on in her house, and I don't know why the hell she invited Cynthia over there in particular. They could just went out to a restaurant, talking about come on up the steps. Cynthia finna fall through the steps and shit. It was just a mess. Kenya tells Cynthia about everything that happened, um, back in Detroit, and how she knocked on her mother's door and she heard somebody say, "Don't open the door," and then she heard the door lock, and Cynthia got emotional. She was just like, "Look, girl, I gotta go. This is craziness." Um, so let's see. Also, moving on from that, um, who decided to go on the trip? It was Phaedra. She invited Kim and her two boys, and she also invited Sheree and Portia just for support or whatever. So they all show up and come, and Kim, she's a little late. She's very excited though about coming, and the boys spending time together and all that good stuff. So Kim arrives late on the bus. All of them on the bus. They meet the congresswoman. All the little kids are a little bit confused, and they're just like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna smile and keep it moving. Um, they have a like a little meeting, a little dinner, and all that. And Sebastian, I believe that's his name, which is Kim's oldest son. He's like 8. And he's making some little comments on the way there. Oh, this is stupid. Why do I have to be here to meet some stupid Congress people? And this doesn't make any sense. Yada yada yada. And Aiden, he was just like, they don't even know what I like, and this and that. It's definitely not really a place for kids. So they sit down to talk to the Congress lady, and she basically, starts to talk to them about certain things that she's done. And Phaedra has a foundation, Saving Our Sons, which is patternized after her, the Congresswoman, and it was inspired by her, and to help save black men, basically, from all the things that the world give us, I guess, which is mostly hell. So she was just like, okay, and she said something. She was like, a lot of people really fear or have a problem with African American men. That's why you got to be strong, because a lot of people don't like them. And Kim immediately gets up. She gives her the church finger, Congresswoman. Wait a minute, sister girl. And she leaves, and she goes to explain to Sebastian that many people have been discriminated against because of the color of their skin, and all this and that. When she was talking to him and kind of sugarcoating it, like Phaedra said, I mean, look, she can do what she wants to do with her child, but I wonder if Kim and her husband is raising their son kind of like, or their sons with an S, plural, kind of like everybody's treated equally. Very. I could compare it. I guess I would compare it to like how a white family tells their kids, their white children, you know, just in suburbia, how the world is and how everything is, and this and that. They don't really have to worry about anything. Um, but I'm guessing Kim. I guess Kim raised her kids like that. Just that you can do anything and be anything, which you can to a certain extent. I mean, you can't fly, but like there is certain things that little John is gonna get over little Raheem. I mean, it is what it is. But you can still get there, but it's gonna be harder. So I don't know how Kim is raising her kids, but it's very interesting. She's very, wants to, I guess, shield and protect them from everything. But I mean, you can't protect them from everything. But either she's gonna tell them now, or when they get older, they're gonna be so shocked and have so many questions, they're gonna get hurt real bad by the world because something's gonna happen, and then they're gonna be like, "Well, mommy, why you never told me this?" So I don't know. We'll see. I just grew up in the hood in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and so I was already exposed to a lot of stuff, and I was taught well, but you know, I just already knew how the world worked, how things was when it comes to race and color and all that stuff. But whatever, we shall see. So anyway, the next day, of the trip was the Million Man March, and there was so many people. And Kim, she says that she says this in her confessionals. Oh, that she has to leave the Million Man March earlier because she has to speak at this leukemia event or whatever. And so I was just like, okay, you gotta go and make your coins. I get it. Um, but you knew that from the beginning, Kim. So why did you even go? Like, whatever. So anyway, we get to the Million Man March. Kim comes all the way to the Million Man March, and before anything even starts, Kim says, "Oh well, I got to leave because I got an event, and thanks for inviting me, but I got to go." And her little baby was acting up and all kinds of stuff, and you know the 8-year old he wanted to leave because when they hugged and it was just like, oh, this was fun. The little boy Kim's son said, oh, this was fun for y'all, this was good for y'all. I was like, oop, he's a little snappy, slap him in his mouth, Kim. Trying to tell you, but whatever, that's a their child. I don't have any kids, so you know what do I know. But that's that lady's baby, so whatever, I'm gonna let it go. um so and Kim Sheree was just like, well, Phaedra put this whole thing together and all that, so you would think that you would be a little bit more open and trying to stay. She was just like, look, I'm a mother first and this and okay, Kim, good luck on getting your independence, girl, or whatever you're trying to find. Whatever. Let's just move along from that. What really pissed me off about this freaking episode was Aunt Lori and Shay, which is Aunt Lori's daughter, Kenya's cousin. So they come over to Kenya's house and talk, and Aunt Lori basically is getting on Kenya about knocking on her sister's door, which is Kenya's mama. Kenya was just like, "Are you fucking serious? I have every right." Kenya has every right to knock on her mother's door, and Kenya's issue with her mother not talking to her and giving her up, she was just like, "I was cool with that," but the fact that I've seen my mother throughout the years at functions and stuff, and she still act like she don't know me, like that's crazy. That Kenya's mother goes around talking to everybody else, but she skips over Kenya when she's sitting right in front of Kenya or something. I couldn't. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? That is absolutely crazy to me. I couldn't believe that. And Aunt Laura and Shay is basically, you don't have the right to knock on my sister's door. I care about you, but that's still my sister, and then all this old bullshit. I was just like, oh, child. And Kenya got upset and they hugged at the end of the day. But Kenya was just like, you know what? I have my answers and I'm cool on her and I'm just going to let it go. Just move on from your life. Shay was just like, yeah, I've been sharing my mother with you for years. It's cool. Like, I don't mind. You can have her or whatever. I understand that, Shay, and we love all the aunties around the world, but there's nothing like having a mother. You have your mother. Kenya don't have hers. And so it was just like, I don't know. A lot of people saying it was something, she probably shouldn't have did that in front of the cameras with the cameras and all that. But I'm sure Kenya has tried many other things way before the Housewives of Atlanta to try to get in touch with her mom. So I don't know. I couldn't believe that shit. Anyway, just to end, um, Nene is back. Nene is back in the house. Block, block, and block. She opens the door. Cynthia greeting her with open arms once again. And we shall see what's coming on with Miss Nene Leaks. And apparently they're trying to work their relationship out. They had the strongest connection, and Cynthia was just like, well, Kenya's my girl now. And Nene was just like, you couldn't do it, Kenya. You just couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't handle it. And basically replacing her. There's no relationship like Nene and Cynthia. Whatever. I hope this time away really has. Hopefully, Nene has humbled herself because now she had to come into the show. Nene was very Hollywood. She was very above it all, above the drama. I don't have time for these ladies and this and that. But look where your ass had to come right back to, Moose Tracks. Look where you had to come right back to. Your main moneymaker. You're still a rookie in Hollywood. You'll always be a rookie in Hollywood for the most part. Because a lot of people in Hollywood, well, one reason a lot of people don't respect people in reality TV, and plus you haven't done that many films or whatever. You've done Broadway, which is great, but this is the only place where Nene Leakes is going to be treated like a queen and going to make the most out of everybody on this show. So who wouldn't come back? I would come back too. But Nene, just humble yourself. Humble yourself, sure. Humble yourself, dear, and you will be a little bit more likable. Because a lot of people fell out with you, but hopefully you won't be. But you should be, because you can get red since you back on the show. I thought you was in Hollywood making movies, dipping in and doing it with Hillary Swank and them. But whatever. That was pretty much this review, you guys. I just hope Cynthia don't go back into her ass kissing routine. I really don't, because that's pretty much what she was, at least in my opinion. Anyway, Mr. Chill, I can Google Plus and at It's King's World. Follow me. Love you.